will it be correct then that it is our interpretation at times in life that kind of make the suffer that we go through something
Mm,
unbearable for us?
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge thing in a sense that you can have people, and especially I think I learned this working with different people, going through different challenges, and then you see the different reactions. And honestly, you do learn a lot. You do learn a lot for
Mhm.
yourself as well because certain things maybe I haven't gone through, or I've gone through maybe these little things compared to other people. And then I
Yes.
remember some people, how they've been strong and how they've been able to manage um, just by using that kind of attitude and perspective that was more helpful than that of other people that were maybe more negative and just fallen into hopelessness. So when there's hope and there's something that is supporting a
Mhm.
sense that something good could happen, that's very powerful. I find in all circumstances. So you could see very different reactions from people, even in terms of tolerance. In terms of
Mhm.
acceptance. Some people very religious. They would accept certain things that happened as God will,
Okay.
and because of their faith, they will just find reason, find a meaning to what's been happening through their faith, and
Okay.
just that it can be very helpful. While other people can be left really confused and confused about the world, about themselves, and what this been happening to me, and that it's a kind of a risk factor in a sense. So this is just an example. Of course, I'm
Of
not
course,
saying
yes.
that only religious people will go through
No,
events
no,
in a positive way. That was just an
no.
example to say, and the way that
Of
people
course.
think and interpret events, how can be
Yeah, but
it can change. And on the other side, well, I just wanted to mention, and this is not, it was not an adversity, but I do remember there was a girl. There was
mhm.
nothing with the refugee sector at all. It was just a girl who
Okay.
actually ended her own life because she thought she was going to fail at school. Okay, so this just to say the perception of this
Yes.
girl of what it meant for her to fail at school and what it meant for the family to know that. And I don't know what she was thinking, but for her that was like a so tragic that she could not cope with that failure. So this to say, how much interpretation can change the way we
Influence
feel.
our life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How can our upbringing help us in this direction?
Sorry?
Because is there anything that parents can do when it
Mm,
comes to this our interpretation of the world? I am just
okay.
thinking, looking at based on the example that you just gave, I am
Mm,
wondering what could have been going on in that little girl's house. Why
mm,
does
mm,
she
mm.
believe that
Yeah.
the most important thing in life is passing exam? Of course, by all means, you should be able to pass exam, study hard and everything. But if you fail today, you do it again next time. I am not saying this to underestimate her perception and everything, but I am trying to understand the environment in which she grew up and what could
Mm,
her
mm,
parents have done better.
mm, 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 mm. Well, I mean, it's a bit complicated, maybe to take that as an example for this
Mhm.
because we don't want to assume that the parents
Yeah,
were somehow making her feel like.
negligent. Okay.
So we don't know that. But it could be that the girl, teenager girl, it's usually a very complex time of parenting. There's a lot of conflict. There could be some division, and the girl could have gone through depression at that time and just reacted the way. So we can't really imply that, but just generally speaking,
Yes.
certainly, yes, the way, let's say, how to, support our children to be resilient in front of challenges. We can do that by teaching them to tolerate distress, and kind of guiding them making the right choices, or finding, their own values, the values that are guiding for them to make the right choices. From one side, I say guide because we don't want to do everything for our children, and nowadays it's like
Absolutely.
some parents that are like super protective and they just do everything and even more.
Helicopter parenting.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
it's good for the children to experience some stress sometimes, as long as it's something that is not unbearable. It's
Yes.
okay. So that's one other point, that if we are distressed because our children are facing stressful situation, it's
Hmm.
not helping that much. So we need to step back and let the child deal with some level of stress and support when is required, to help them cope and contain their distress and their emotional suffering. Okay, but we can't take away the stress from children. It's not helpful. They need to be dealing with the right level of distress. Of course, we're not talking about excessive distress because that would be damaging.
Hmm.
So it has to be something that is better